So good morning. Got a slightly different video today actually. I'm going to try and do a few more of these going forward because we haven't done a lot for a long time now. But yeah, we've got an oil boiler exchange today. Originally got called to this house, which is quite a large house, as you can see, very old. It's about 400 or 500 years old. To put an SLC pump in. So I said, yeah, let's do a heat loss calc on it. Came in about 24 to 26 kilowatts, and I said, look, there's a time and a place where you'll get heat pump companies coming here and say, yes, you can have one. And I said, yes, you can have one, but personally I think there's a better option. So we had a chat with a very local oil boiler company called EOGB, who have brought out the fully modulating Sapphire boiler. So I'll just spin this around, and there it is. So this is the external model. 26 kilowatts, obviously modulates all the way down to I think somewhere like 4 or 6 kilowatts. So I'm going to put that in, and we've got some EPH controls here which are all opentherm as well, so we're going to use them. Hopefully that will help bring down the oil usage quite a lot here. But it's a bit of an interesting install because you can see there's an old fire valve that doesn't even go inside, so it's just an external one doing absolutely nothing, reading the temperature outside. So that's a load of rubbish. But the boiler is going to sit on this slab here. Condens can go in the drain. 2 pipes are going to go through the wall, and because it's quite old, what we're going to do is we're going to separate the system off. So the old system will stay, well, the whole system will stay basically open vented on its old tank. But with the boiler, what we're going to do is we're going to put it onto a plate and seal that up, so it won't ever be affected by any future issues with the boiler. Obviously on the other side of the plate, on the original heating side, we'll put a filter on. It's going to be fully flushed out, but I don't feel very confident pressurising the house side. If you saw how old the system was, yeah, it's one of them where you kind of sit there and go, I don't think I want to pressurise this, I'd run away. So we're going to leave the old system as it is, just put a plate on it, separate it with a plate, seal up the Sapphire side, put a little pump on, filter, put a Spirotech air vent on it as well, just to get rid of any small air bubbles, because obviously the run from the boiler to inside where the plate is going to literally be about 3 meters, so it's not very long at all. But yeah, quite excited about this because it's the first one we've done. I've got Martin or Reese from EOGB coming out later in the week. They're going to run us through a full commission of the system. When you do want to fit a Sapphire, you have to become an agent for EOGB. You can go on a course for them. The course is absolutely fantastic, and then what happens is they give you the option to buy this little tool here. So that is the Sapphire commissioning tool, and this is the tool that you basically use this tool, plug it into the boiler, and you set up the different modulation stages basically for the oil pump to change the modulation on the burner, which is where all the savings obviously come for your money. So yeah, we're going to run you through how to install this over the next 2 or 3 days. Martin or Reese will come out and help us commission it. And what we're going to probably do as well, I'm going to see if the customer wants to put an oil usage meter on the oil line, because it'd be really good to come back in a year time, 2 years time, 3 years time, just to see what his oil consumption is, because we're taking out a 50-year-old Trianco that I think is 62 kilowatts. So once again, as usual with most properties in the UK, boiler is massively oversized for what he actually needs. As you can imagine, every time the boiler comes on at the minute, it's pumping out 60 kilowatts of heat, no modulation whatsoever. When at -3, the heat loss come out and showed that he only actually needed 26 kilowatts. So I would imagine their oil usage could come down by at least 50%. So yeah, I'll do another video in a bit. We'll get the old boiler out. I'll give you a quick run through of where we're going to try and put the plate, the expansion vessel, the pump, air separator and filter. We'll try and get the new boiler in the next 2 days. I'll do a couple of little short videos on that, and then we'll come back with a commissioning team. See you then. So this is the old boiler, big old Trianco, as you can see there. So we're taking this out. They're actually hoping to open this up a little bit here to maybe put an American fridge freezer in. So all we're going to do is connect onto these 2 pipes, probably take them back to that wall, bring them down the wall out to the boiler, along with the opentherm wiring, etc. Right above here is the airing cupboard, which I'll run up there in a minute, and then hopefully, like I said, we'll fit the air separator, the filter, pump, the separate pump for the other side of the plate heat exchanger, sorry. And then all they're going to have down here is 2 pipes in that corner. It's about 1.2 metres wide, this, so they should get a nice fridge freezer in here, and it'll be a usable cupboard again. So this is the airing cupboard. As you can see, there's the old feed and vent there, which we're going to leave in, obviously, because like I said, I don't really want to pressurise the old part of the system. It is a very old house with very old plumbing, and don't get me wrong, you could do it. I've done it before and we have got away with it, but there's a time and a place, and it's just easier. So what we're going to do is secure these a bit better. Those controls will be going, obviously. I think the EPH control comes with a cylinder sensor, so I'm going to have to go through them in a bit because I've not fitted them yet, so it's going to be interesting. I think they're all Wi-Fi controlled as well, so there's an app on it. Like I said, it's fully modulating open therm control. So all we need to do in here is basically take these flow and returns from down here, divert them into a plate, pump the other side, pump goes downstairs into the boiler. We're going to try and get a filter and an air separator as we can as well. So they've asked us to try and get as much up here as we can, obviously, to save the space downstairs so that they can keep their, well, put a new fridge freezer in there basically. So we just opened up the Sapphire box. Got to say, it's a really, really nice casing, really well built. What I am impressed with already is, you can see down here, look at these knockouts here. Got loads of room there. I mean, that's got to be 4 inches. And then what they also provide is these little knockout covers. But you can also see where they've already made the knockout on the insulation side as well. I mean, that insulation is thick as well. It's got to be 1/2 inch thick, that. So this is the heat exchanger with the jacket around it. There's your control box. I've got to go through where all the wiring and stuff goes at the minute, but yeah, so far really impressed. So you get a big old accessory box with it. There's a flue connector, condensate connector. There's your air intake hose. You get, looks like a diffuser, a couple of nozzles, oil check valve, key to open the case up with. There's quite a lot on it, but yeah, those knockouts I'm well impressed with. You've also got external boiler option. You've got rear flue here, side flue there, and there's another side flue here. So because it's going there, we're going to face it obviously that way and use the flue out here, because it keeps it within regs away from that window as well. We won't get any plume issues then either. But yeah, unboxing it for the first time, very impressed so far. So we've started installing the Sapphire now. Couple of little things I do and I don't like about it, if I'm honest. Love the fact you get an option to either plumbing either side and knockouts either side, and again, like I said, the knockouts are really nice. They've got a full rubber seal on, so you can cut it to the exact size. But that's really nice, so you don't have to muck around bending everything. One little niggle, I'm not going to lie, is that doesn't line up, so I'm going to have to put a kick on that. That frustrates me slightly, I'm not going to lie. That should, if you've got an outlet here, that ideally should be over, but I don't know. There might be just enough room actually to go straight out, but until I get a bit of pipe in there I won't know exactly, but it looks like it might have to be slightly kicked. Condense pipe down the bottom. You've got a little trap on this. I think you can pump this condense as well, so that's going to go through there and then outside on the knockout there. Return port down the bottom. The flue's a bit tricky. I don't know if you have to take the side off, but we had to take it off to get in it. So what you have to do is you have to put this air intake box on, so you get obviously a choice of back, side. So you have to take the gasket off here with a blanking plate like that, put this on, which is really tight. Again though, they have been really clever and they've actually notched all the insulation out to take that. There, you might be able to see it better there, but it's still intact down the bottom. Flue's one of the easiest flues I've fitted on an external boiler. Actually went straight in, really lovely flue guard, all the holes lined up, screwed straight in, there's no mucking around or wobbling. Yeah, that was quite easy, but yeah, so far so good. All the wiring's going to go in there, so it needs permanent live neutral earth. You get pump live neutral and earth as well, because I think it's got a 10-minute overrun timer for the pump to stop the boiler overheating, obviously. And then your open therm controls as well. This can actually run like a normal standard condensing boiler on a switch live. The only problem is I think you lose a lot of the modulation on that. So if you're going to go down that route and not fit open therm, personally I wouldn't bother fitting one of these, because it's a bit of a waste of time, unless they obviously want to upgrade it soon after. But if you're going to fit one, you might as well fit open therm straight off, or go and fit one of the other manufacturers, to be honest. Nice touch there, air vent on the top, so you can bleed the top of the heat exchanger, do like that. Also really like this, you get two test points for the flue. Don't know why they've done that, to be honest, but must be a reason. But it's a nice option either way. But yeah, we're getting there. So we're going to get the old boiler out now, because it's finished draining. Get some holes drilled through there. Probably start doing the airing cover tomorrow, and then we'll see where we're at. But I'll give you an update later on, see how we're getting them. Take it easy. Cheers. Bye. Right, so that's the old boiler gone. That's nearly killed us, I'm not going to lie. That was heavy. We've had to get it on a sack barrow. Take it from this position here. Oh God, I'm blowing. Out of this kitchen. Try not to damage anything, obviously. Scrap man's coming tomorrow now. So yeah, out of here on a sack barrow. Round the back of the garden. Down over the tennis court, and you'll see it sat there at the bottom. But yeah, it's just down there. God, that was heavy. Makes you laugh when you see these new boilers as well. I mean, that EOGB one must weigh, oh, it's got to be 50 kilos, if not less. That must have been 200. That's a joke. So yeah, thank God we got that out, but we can crack on and start getting the other one sorted now. So that's day one pretty much done now. We're just having a good tidy up. But yeah, as you can see, we've got one of the pipes through at the top. Second one needs to be plumbed up tomorrow. Flue's all in. I'll get the condense done tomorrow. And all the internal pipe work tomorrow. So I've got the plate heat exchanger left to do, dirt separator, air separator, pump, connect it to the old system as well, obviously. And then a bit of wiring. So hopefully I think by Wednesday afternoon we'll be ready to commission this. I'll get the lads out from EOGB. We'll run you through the commissioning process, show you what the Sapphire tool that you get if you become a service agent does, and how it modulates the pump, how it can change the output of the unit, and then obviously that's how evidently, hopefully it's going to save the homeowner a load of money. So yeah, see you tomorrow morning. So day two today. I haven't done anything whilst I've been working today, because I haven't really had time, but basically I've got all the plumbing done, all the pipe work's done. All that's going to leave tomorrow is the oil line and the controls. I'm just waiting for a little bit of a wiring diagram on the controls, because it's all open therm, and I just need to know if it needs 2 wires for the open therm or if you can link them up. But as you can see, didn't go exactly to plan. I wanted to put the filling loop, the pump and the air separator upstairs, but I couldn't get away with that, we just didn't have the room. But it still gives them more than enough room to tidy all this up, paint it up, and then they're going to get a 900 fridge freezer in there. So I'll take you upstairs quickly, run you through what we've done up there, and then we'll have a quick look at the boiler. So yeah, this is the airing cover part. We've obviously got expansion vessel here for the sealed part of the system, which is the new boiler side. The old side is going to stay on the open vent, so we don't have to actually break into that and cause any issues. All we've come basically out of is the return from the cylinder and the heating straight into a, this is a heat pump rated inter filter. I don't know if people have seen these or not, but what I really like about them, especially if you're using heat pumps or a plate, is the filtration on it is absolutely fantastic. I mean, nothing is going to get through that gauze filter. So yeah, and the flow rate is really good as well, so you can keep your flow rate up on the heat pump side. But yeah, return out of there, straight into the bottom of the plate, out of there into the pump, and then we've got the flow coming up into the header, air vent on the top and back down. I'm going to try and tidy up some of this wiring because it's just an absolute mess at the minute. Like I said, it's been here for a long time and I don't really know what we can do with it, but we'll try our best. See where we're going to fit all the open therm controls in, because that cylinder stat has to go, and it's a sensor. So again, we're going to have to make sure we're close enough for that. So yeah, we're back outside now. You can see the flow pipes in. I was wrong, it does actually fit, although if you can see there, it is really tight to that side, so it's like it's over, it's still like it's out about 10-15 mil, so that could do with coming over 10 or 15 mil, but never mind. Returns down here, I've put the PRV outside. I'm going to get that all lagged up with external rated lagging that we use on heat pumps. You can conceal it as well, so it stops any water ingress. Again, I'll seal up here so that the lagging sits nice and tight, and again on the boiler, so you won't get any water ingress there. They have supplied these that go around the back of the boiler for the electrics. I'm not sure I'm going to use them yet, or whether it might be worth drilling another hole in somewhere just to make it a bit neater, because it looks, I think it's going to look a bit odd. Wires just coming around the back. Obviously if the boiler was spun around that way, they'd come straight into the back, which would be nice and neat, but it'd be nice if there was some wiring knockouts. Actually, I'm going to mention that to the manufacturers. It would be nice if they could add a couple of wiring knockouts on each side just to give you that option, but I don't know, we're being a bit picky, I suppose, really, because everything else has been fitted really well. The Arga oil line is coming out, and we're going to run a separate one around from the tanks. That's what it should have had in starting place. They have asked, they do supply, actually, they supply this non-return valve for the oil. I did think it went there because that's how it kind of comes set up, but they have said, can we get this as close to the tank as possible? That just stops any air bubbles that you might get. It's a decent run to the oil line. It goes all the way there, all the way in there, goes all the way there around the car, and then the oil tank's just over there somewhere. So yeah, that's another job, another day to run another oil line for the Arga, but we'll do that just before September when they normally turn them on, because we can give it a good service then as well. So you shouldn't have a combined oil line for your boiler and Arga or anything else on a vaporising unit either. So but yeah, we're going to get an oil filter down there because there's no filters really. 90-degree fire valve, bring the oil line in, condense is going to come straight out in there, and again we'll lag that with 25mm external rated lagging. So yeah, just about done for today. Having a good pack up. Coming back tomorrow, we'll get the oil line done first thing, get the system filled up because it's pretty much ready to be filled now, get it wired, give the lads at EOGB a ring and see when they can come down and help us out, and then that'll be the next video. It'll be the commissioning time, and we'll see how it all gets running, how the open therm controls can modulate the state of the boiler, and then we'll run you through how we plug in the EOGB Sapphire control box that you get when you're a service agent, and how to set the burner up and the pump. See you tomorrow. So good morning, it's day 3. Install's gone really well. Lads from EOGB just turned up to have a look at the Sapphire. I'm going to wander over there in a minute. Reece and Martin are there. Going to ask them a couple of questions about the boiler. They're now setting it up with a little computer that you get when you're a service agent. Just wanted to show as well, this is my service agent t-shirt, and also this is the only thing I've got from EOGB for this. The boiler's been supplied and paid for by the client. All the controls are paid for. There's no freebies on this, so just wanted to put that out there in case anyone thinks we're trying to get something from the manufacturer for this. It's just a very honest review. Just gone through a couple of the things I come up with about, like the electrical connections with the owners, the electric connections on the boiler, how you run your open therm, etc. And Reece did just say if you use things like the Honeywell controller or the Genius hub controller, the open therm control can actually go just the other side of the wall and then connect to the Wi-Fi, so it doesn't actually have to run back to the thermostat. So there are options if the EPH isn't an option and the run to the open therm control is a bit too far away. So we'll head over there in a minute and we'll see what we can do, ask some questions, and I'll show you how the controller and the boiler and the burner will modulate itself. Right, so we've got the boiler nice and commissioned. Reece from EOGB's here. Just going to run through what this controller actually does. So when we're setting the boiler up, Reece, what do we see from here? Obviously, the picture's not fantastic because of the light. But
so what you've got first, the first screen that you'll come to is the system ramp test.
Yep.
Now this screen is ideal, but once you've commissioned it.
Yeah.
So this is so when you turn up to a service, you can quickly take this to wherever you want to take it.
Yeah, so by adjusting the pump pressure, that's where we get our modulation from the burner.
So then you take up to 20, you press set, then the burner will drive all the way up.
Yep.
And then if you just come back down to 5 and press set,
yep,
the burner will drive all the way back down then. So you can hear a nice smooth modulation range.
Okay.
throughout.
So how many steps of modulation do we have on this boiler?
So you got 15 bar
Okay.
of pressure. So you got from 5 bar to 20 bar.
Yeah.
So you'd have to do the combustion at each of those bars. So I know there's 15 sets of combustion, but it's actually really quick to do.
And the boilers are rated from 6 kilowatts to 32.
6 to 32.
Yeah, they come out of the box at
28.
Okay.
So it'll be a 9 to 28 kilowatt.
Yeah, so I mean that's really good for me because you've got one boiler in a box basically that if you put a 23 or a 24 kilowatt in and someone puts a big extension on the side of their house, it's just literally an oil nozzle change, isn't it? It
is, yes. And obviously we've got a 23, 28 and a 32 of the 3 ranges.
Yeah.
So a 0.45 nozzle in the first one, 0.55 in the second one, 0.65 in the third. But what you can also do is say you didn't want a 28, say you did the heat loss calculation and you wanted bang on 25 kilowatts.
Yeah.
You can reduce your maximum pump pressure.
Yeah.
So instead of it going all the way up to 20, you could reduce it down to whatever your calculation would be 16 bar.
Yeah.
And have that set to your maximum. So then it would go from 25 kilowatt down to 9 kilowatt.
Yeah, and with some tweaks, obviously we can put the maximum output a little bit lower than 23 as well, can't we?
Yes.
Yeah. Because obviously I know a lot of, we spoke earlier about a lot of new builds now are coming in obviously a lot lower at the average 3 bed's about 7-8 kilowatts at the moment.
Well,
so that's our biggest battle now, isn't it?
Yeah, well that's it. So obviously with it being stainless steel 316 Ti with the titanium in it, we're not worried at all about any low temperatures within the chamber, any low temperatures within the actual flow and the return temperatures.
I was going to say flow and return temperatures won't rot the boiler out or anything.
We're not worried about that whatsoever.
Okay, perfect. You were saying earlier as well, it will still save a little bit of energy efficiency over a normal condensing boiler, even on a switch live input one instead of open therm.
Yes, so even if you take away the open therm with your load compensation, weather compensation, and you just used it on a switch live operation, it will then modulate itself to the PT sensor, so the actual flow temperature. So therefore then you are still saving fuel because you're not coming on and just working at a one fixed output. Yeah. It will come on and then it will modulate itself to whatever flow temperature you set the boiler to run to in your commissioning screen.
And we've got some official test data now as well, haven't we?
Yes, so we've got all the tests from Kiwa test house, and then we've got some sites as well that we've got official test.
So roughly,
documents.
I won't hold you to it, but what roughly are we saving on a standard condensing boiler?
So on this one compared to a condenser, so fuel savings you should see in excess of about 25-30%.
That's amazing, really.
Fuel savings. Okay. So we are definitely seeing that, because I said a lot of people that have brought these now have fitted oil meters in the line, just because obviously the agent has sold it on you'll save fuel, and the customer's like, well, I want some visual on that as well. And
then against obviously the old 50-odd-year-old Triangle we took out, I mean, it's hard to say, isn't it? But we're going to be looking at 60-70%, aren't we?
I'd be surprised if not. I would genuinely be surprised if not.
All right.
But as I say, the biggest feature and the biggest selling point is the fuel saving.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. All right, Reece.
I was just going to say, because it's the USPs of it as well that.
I mean, obviously, you know, it's fair to say as well. Most people will notice the boiler is a little bit more expensive than most other condensing boilers, but obviously you're looking at
longevity.
The stainless steel heat exchanger is a no-brainer for me. Now, there is other ones out there, but there's not many.
Yeah.
But
that's why we put a 25-year warranty on it.
Yeah, it's the modulating burner. I know other people again have a modulating burner, but they don't have in as many stages as you do they?
No. So the other ones technically are not modulating, because there's technically a 2-stage.
Yeah, it's a 2-stage burner.
So you've only got your high and your low, which has been about for donkeys in the audience.
From an installer's perspective as well, like, one last question: is there any issue with us regarding off-tech? Because obviously there is an issue with other boiler manufacturers having a 2-stage burner, where if you're on your basic off-tech, you shouldn't actually touch that 2-stage burner, should you? Technically. So I mean, I won't have you ask that.
Now,
have we got a problem with your burner on that point at all?
So obviously I attend the off-tech technical meetings, and I brought this subject up.
Yeah.
And just to throw a name out there, Navian.
Yeah.
Is a 2-stage burner.
Yeah.
So therefore, we worked with UCAS to accredit the Off-Tech 201 qualification, and the Off-Tech 201 qualification is solely a 2-stage burner qualification, not commercial.
No.
Just a 2-stage burner qualification. So therefore, any burner irrelevant of kilowatt,
if
it's 2-stage, it should have your 201
it's another course
certificate.
Yeah. Do we need that for this boiler though?
No, you don't.
Which is
because
fantastic,
there's no
then.
such thing as a modulating oil qualification.
Yeah.
We are currently getting it put into the Offtech legislation, so we're dealing with that on the training courses and things like that. So it's going to be implemented into it. Because if you look in your BS 5410 Part 1 now, your British standard, there is modulating burners now in there, and there's a picture of the Sapphire in the British standard.
So again, from an engineer's point of view, there's no extra training, no extra qualification needed to fit this boiler, is there?
All you need is your 101
Yeah.
and EOGB, so Sapphire's manufacturer's certificate.
Yeah, and it's a one-day course at EOGB, isn't it?
One-day free course at EOGB.
Yeah, you get a nice pack and a little t-shirt.
And you get to have a lovely cup of tea.
So just onto the controls, the three main controls that we're really using in general are the Honeywell Evo home setup, the EPH setup, and the Genius, is it?
Genius Hub,
Genius Hub, yeah. So there's three options. I did say earlier, obviously, I put a point on the video yesterday, I was a bit worried about running that opentherm cable back to a thermostat port, obviously, but you said, obviously, with the Evo home and the Genius, it's just another box inside.
It would just be another little receiver that will go inside here. So
yeah, all hub. Connected to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and connect to Wi-Fi, and then that will then connect to your main hub, you know, like an Evo home.
Yeah.
And then that will then just connect to the TRVs if you're going for the TRVs.
Perfect.
Something like that. Because it all works on like a Zigbee Z-Wave.
Yeah, lovely, mate. Well, appreciate your help on that one.
That's all right.
Cheers for that, bud.
No worries.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate.
Right, okay, we're going to wrap this up for today now. Going to be really interesting. We're going to come back in a year's time for the first year service, obviously. The owner's very good at calculating what he uses on cost, etc. So it'll be interesting in a year's time to see what we've actually saved over, because obviously we're looking at 60, 70, maybe even 80%, obviously depending on usage. We've got the opentherm controller set up. It's hot water priority as well, so the EPH will shut down the heating to literally load itself up for hot water, because it just literally will load the boiler up at maximum rate to get the hot water out of the way, because there's not really any savings in hot water. So the quicker you can get that hot water tank up, the better. The boiler can then turn itself onto heating, opentherm takes over, it will then modulate the fire and return temps, which will then kick in and help modulate the burner. So I've had a good time fitting this. It's going to be really interesting in 1 year, but all I'll say now is if you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Hopefully we'll be doing a few more of these. If you've got any questions for me about the boiler install, or for Martin and Reese at EOGB, just drop them in the comments below. I'll ping them over to them and I'll try and get you some answers out. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.